Greetings and welcome back to Gacha News. This is for the 20th of August for 2025, and we have a couple of very spicy topics today concerning developers versus players. So let's get started, shall we? Starting off with Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, who is having not a very good week because take a look at this. Yeah, you can tell just from... Let's see, yeah, over on the right, that something very bad happened over the weekend. So allow me to explain. As you can see, this was posted last week, and it was a basically community event where the players would quite literally get to decide which alternate art card would be giving out for free for everybody who participated. The context of the rules were quite simple. When you logged into the little hub area, you picked which card you wanted to represent, and you joined that team. We had a team Fenny over here, Fenny the Something Phoenix, which is one of the newest cards. This is Foresight, which is one of the core cards from the probably most powerful, well, deck that is currently in the game and has been for a while, and a Puppet, which is for another one of the stronger sets. So we've got a top tier, and complete underdog. And so over 70% of the players chose this one, joined that team, and started participating in the event. Now, the rules were actually quite simple. You play versus matches against people from the other team, and you get 100 points, whether you win or lose. Now, the problem started when everybody that was on Team Fenny over here was taking 6+ minutes to find a match. Yeah, not good. But hey, it didn't matter, because by the time I joined in and I checked on the points, Team Fenny was around 70% higher than any of the other two, 8 to 9 times higher than this one, and around 4 to 5 times higher than this one. So the decision made by the community was actually very clear. They wanted this alternate art card. So then, Saturday ends, Sunday rolls around, and then the second part of the event kicks in. Anybody that completed 25 games the day before would have a special ticket, and that gave you the chance to be summoned up to a special tournament, or one of multiple ones, where you would participate and win more points for your faction. And this is where the problems lie, because by the time Sunday ended, somehow this one had won. Which makes no sense. If you think about it, this one had around 7, 8, or even 9 times more points than this one, and we're talking tens of millions of points, and more players that would have unlocked tickets, so there was absolutely no way that this one had any possibility of winning. This led people to speculate that from the very start, this entire event was rigged, that they were going to give this one out for free, which honestly, the art, while not bad, is definitely not what people in this game want, especially when you have the option of a cute girl and another cute girl. And so, because this one won, nobody was happy with the result, because there's no way it should have. And you add on to that the fact that 1 hour after the event closed, there was already a pack in the store that was offering all 3 other cards for around $12 each, so $24 for getting the 2 that you actually wanted, or the 1 you actually wanted. So that is what led to, nope, oh, that was my camera, nope, to this situation right here. If you go onto Steam and you look at the reviews, you will see that this is not a review bomb. People are writing well over 500-word reviews explaining in detail what the problems with the game. And these, as you can see, they started all the way from the beginning in June 18th on its release. And yes, there have been a lot of small problems, such as the free-to-play economy being just bearable. It's not bad, but it is just bearable. Let's see, what else? There was also the problem with balancing of the decks, where, as I explained it relatively earlier, the Runecraft deck has been top tier since launch, and Puppets have been a problem, and they're still pretty much top tier. And yeah, it's really a balancing nightmare. And then this event where it feels rigged, I have no evidence towards that happened, and yeah, that literally broke the game. And this is not good for the game at all, because if you're a new player looking for a digital collectible card game and you see overwhelmingly negative on the game you're clicking on, yeah, you are not going to stick around for very long. At most, you'll click on the reviews and read them in detail to see what's going on, and you will probably say to yourself, yeah, I'll either go back to Master Duel, Magic the Gathering Arena, or Hearthstone. Because yeah, if this is how the current enfranchised players react, then yeah, it's probably not very friendly for new players. So yeah, Shadowverse Worlds Beyond having a very bad week this week. We'll see if they react at all. Based on what I'm seeing so far, they have not, so we will see what happens. And now moving on to the second spicy topic, which is over on Girls Frontline 2. here. Now, you might not see it very well, but Girls Frontline 2 last week had a... Over in China, they had a little stream where they announced that they were going to introduce a skin gacha banner. Now, that sounds absolutely terrible. Nobody likes skins being in gachas. And basically, the Chinese community and the English community made their opinion known very quickly by basically review bombing the game down to negative both in the App Store and on Steam. But this developer blog actually answers quite a bit of the question. As we can see here, we zoom in. So as you can see here, it mentions that some of the new skins that are coming are some of the super rare tier purple, which is higher than yellow, I think. I'm not too sure. But these would only be originally only acquiring in the banner. But as we can see, where is it here? Here. They will also be purchasable directly in the shop. This, to me at least, solves the problem because it gives players the option. They can either participate in the gacha banner, which not only that, but I believe it is also going to go down here. It is also going to cost only 40% of what they originally were going to charge of in-game currency. So not only is the skin gacha cheaper, but you're also going to be able to directly buy the outfits in the shop outfit boutique. Which honestly, I've bought 2 skins so far in this game. I bought Vector Schoolgirl outfit, which has the option for various different types, as well as Klukai's battle outfit, which has the exact same options, both for around $10. And I do not regret those purchases. And hearing that there is going to be even more outfits is going to be, well, nice. But let's talk about what is this crew deck here. This is what I mentioned, I believe, a month back, where it was going to be the pool update, where we were going to get some little area in our base that we can walk around to set dolls to do certain tasks, including the actual pool. Apparently, certain outfits are going to have very unique interactions there. I'm not sure what this is yet because I don't really pay attention to China, but even I was made aware of this through the community, which is... They made a lot of noise and they got this. And and apparently all these adjustments that were just made on the Chinese server that already had both of these systems will be implemented on release. So me personally, this currently solves a problem for me. The skin gacha is coming, but you can also buy every skin directly in the shop. So I have no problems. We will see if they maintain that stance. Now there is another thing though, and that is this. Accelerated content patch. Now, I don't know about you, but I enjoy being at least 6 months behind Asia on our global server because it tells us what is coming, what to save up. Now, normally that would be my stance, but what I've seen so far in the last 4 months of playing this game is that during the little quote-unquote live streams that they do on YouTube, where they announce what content is coming and the new doll that's coming around, they don't just suddenly drop bombs like what happened 2 years ago with in Fate Grand Order, where first it was Konyanskaya of Light, then it was Morgan, then it was Melusine Lancer, and then Oberon, and poor people in Japan were bombarded with top-tier units one after another. Yeah, I haven't seen that here so far. What I've seen in the streams is they announce the doll that is coming within the next week, and then at the end of the day, will always tease the doll that is coming after that. So we are not blindsided by brand new dolls. But this does mean that we're not going to be able to prepare well in advance should a doll need multiple copies of herself in order to perform at her absolute best. Why are they doing this? I don't really know. It says something about experiencing the game at the exact same time as the Chinese server. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's basically what it is. They're also going to make dailies slightly less tedious. The Gunsmoke Frontline is the basically guild versus guild, where you fight a giant boss and accumulate points and get rewards based on your performance. It really isn't that hard or challenging at the moment. As a free-to-play player that's only about skins, I have a fire team that's able to consistently get 2,000 or more points even on autoplay. I could probably push close to 2,400 points if I manually handled everything. But yeah, it is a little tedious, but team planning easier. I don't really have any complaints there. As long as the buff that I need for my team is there, I can actually get pretty high there. Enhanced scoring methods in auto battle mode. I believe this is so that rather than just focusing on dealing damage, they focus on exploiting each other's abilities to deal even more points. I believe that's what is referencing there. And lastly, apparently they actually have a suggestions email, which is pretty interesting, nice. A lot of these gachas don't have any of that. So Girls Frontline 2, in my personal opinion, is doing things, it's at least trying to do things as right as possible. Now here we have Lena and Leva. These are the two characters I'm actually waiting for the most right now. And I know they're not coming this week or the next patch, so I'm still waiting on them. And then those are the two big newses, but we do have something else, and I believe it is, yes, over in Zendazo Zero, we are finally getting Seed and Orphe/Magus. This is going to be the live stream on Thursday/Friday, depending on where you live. And that means they are arriving next week on Wednesday, and my poor polychromes are crying because I need both of these characters because I've been waiting to complete Obol Squad since the game launched. So yeah, if you want them both, good luck along with myself. And then lastly, just as I was going to, start recording this video, this dropped that we are getting a Halloween event with a crossover of Resident Evil. Now, the original video down here didn't show who the units were, but the trailer was played during the Gamescom, and we can actually know what two units are coming. Polly is already in the game, and she's a police officer. For Polly, she's already getting the short end of the stick. This is regular D, which is refreshing because she's been only walking around in her skin in her alternate version since the release of that. And here, this is clearly Ada Wong. I mean, come on, this is mostly based on the new version, I believe. But yeah, clearly Ada Wong, because this is how she always interacts with with Leon every time they first meet up in the game. So yeah, clearly Ada Wong. And lastly, we have Jill Valentine. Now, honestly, I was expecting it to be Claire, not Jill, but I guess it kind of makes sense for it to be Jill since Jill had a HD quality update on her, an HD version of Resident Evil 3 more recent than the HD version of Resident Evil 2. Although personally, I would have gone with Claire Redfield because she's more recognizable. She is technically the face of the franchise along with Chris, Leon, and Ada. Jill, she came a lot later in Resident Evil 3, so I wasn't expecting it to be her. Not sure how I feel about it, but hey, crossover units, and as long as it doesn't interfere with my pulls on overspec Matisse, I'm going to be pulling on this banner because you always want to get at least one unit of every crossover unit, especially if there's a very small chance that they will not get a rerun. The only event that's gotten a rerun so far is the Nier Automata, which was a surprise. But yeah, that is the general news for these past 2 weeks. Two games having, one game having a very bad week, one game giving me hope that they are doing things correctly, and we will see what happens in the future. Zendazo Zero getting a new banner, and my resources are crying, and then a Resident Evil crossover with Nikke, which kind of makes sense. They do use guns. Hopefully it isn't just a pistol, cause yeah. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.